Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Now I know things look and maybe sound a little bit different. The video I wanted to make today I couldn't do it for the computer rooms getting done up and such, so I'm doing it from my MacBook. I'm doing it with a different webcam and such, as you can see, which means the quality is going to look incredibly different. It's going to sound different. I'm just going to have to get used to that throughout this video. I'm sorry, things should be back to normal. I was actually meant to be doing a Celtic career mode video today, but my Xbox isn't plugged in. The wiring needs sorted and such, so I won't be back to normal until tomorrow or the next couple of days, at least when everything is finished up around here. Hence the reason why I'm not actually sitting on a chair as well, and I'm sitting on the edge of my bed. But today, obviously, Celtic have a big game against Salzburg away from home in the Europa League, which I've already spoke about in the channel. I've already given my predictions and my preview for that. If you want to see that video, it is the last video in the channel, so just go to uploads and you'll be able to find it. But today I'm here to talk about the decision from the SFA, here to talk about the SFA altogether really, and just mainly the decision that they've taken over the last 24 hours to reschedule and move the venue for the Scottish Cup semi-final, and especially to do with us. The Celtic game is the game that was decided to be moved. It's been moved altogether, and if you haven't heard, Celtic versus Hearts, or Hearts versus Celtic if you want to be technical, will be played at Murrayfield instead of Hampden. So for the semi-final, one game's going to be at Hampden and one game is at Murrayfield, after the SFA finally had the realisation that it wasn't possible to host two semi-finals between four teams, one city, one stadium in one day. It just wasn't going to happen, was it? And originally the ideas were they were trying to go over what they could do to try and sort it. The games had to be contested within the same weekend, and it wasn't possible to do it at Hampden. They tried to do it originally. The original plan was to have Rangers kick off early against Aberdeen and then have us play at 7:45 at night at Hampden as well. And really it was just an absolutely shambolic series of events from the SFA, which has finally been corrected. Now, my opinion towards the match being played at Hampden, at Murrayfield, personally, I'm not too bothered. Celtic have obviously came out with their statement. Peter Lawwell's made a statement. Brendan Rodgers made a statement about how it is a bad move, how they're disappointed with it, and really just the overall conclusion is that they are not happy with the decision taken by the SFA. For me personally, talking as Ryan Fitzsimons, given my own opinion of us playing at Murrayfield, I'm honestly not too bothered. But what does bother me is the state of the SFA surrounding these decisions, the incompetence surrounding the SFA and everyone who came in to make these decisions. It should have been done a lot better. They should have been able to handle it. After all, these are major games. These are the semi-final of one of the major club competitions in the country. You'd think they'd have a little bit more of a clue what to do with. Obviously, Hampden was under a lot of uncertainty in the SFA's future and such. That might have came into play. But my main thinking from it was when they announced on the first time the announcement was made, when the draw was made, they said both games will be played at Hampden the same day. And there was this kind of ruckus and there was this mayhem. Everybody's thinking, how the fuck's that going to work? It's going to be chaotic. Now, my personal opinion to that was, look, not much is probably going to happen. This is my own personal opinion. You may not agree with me. You may share the same opinion. You may not. I can understand either way. My opinion is, like, Rangers Aberdeen should be finished by 4 o'clock. Surely to God, the place should be cleared, should be able for Celtic fans to access for 7 o'clock at night without hassle. Obviously things happen. Alcohol gets involved. Fights could break out, and stuff could happen, but ultimately I don't think it would have been too much of a disaster. Obviously it's preferable just to have it in 2 separate days. I wasn't too concerned about it. What concerned me was the fact that, and I was listening to Super Scoreboard, and Hugh Keevins was saying the SFA believe they are capable of handling the events, and Police Scotland are capable of handling the events. They both believe that, those both firms. But days earlier, we're talking about Celtic and the SFA and such launching investigations into Police Scotland about how they policed one Old Firm game at Celtic Park after a near calamity outside the turnstiles with fans being crushed. So on one hand we're having investigations launched in to how Police Scotland are manning events and managing events, and then the next day we're getting told Police Scotland believes they're capable to take charge of 4 sets of supporters, which includes the transport, involves the areas around the stadium, in the stadium itself, make sure violence doesn't break out. There's a lot on the plate to handle for Police Scotland and the Glasgow City Police especially, to handle in one day after that near calamity at Celtic Park with a few thousand fans. which for me was the main thing. I was thinking to myself, how's that work? How's that work? In my personal opinion, you know, they should have had things sorted out. We should have had to have been staring down the barrel of a gun, thinking, right, 2 games in one day, that shouldn't be possible. Rescheduling seemed off the cards. And now they've finally sorted it out to the discontent of many fans, many supporters of all clubs. Now, one thing that doesn't make sense is how Aberdeen fans are being treated. Aberdeen fans have been given the early game, or I think it's been a couple of hours pushed back, but nonetheless, Aberdeen fans are getting made to travel the furthest in the country to Glasgow, with all these doubts about whether or not transport will actually be able to accommodate that. Aberdeen fans are worried they might not even be able to make the game, and yet they couldn't move their game to Murrayfield. There was no draw, there was no ballot, or there was nothing. They just said Hearts and Celtic, you's go to Murrayfield. We're taking that game and putting you in Murrayfield. I've not got a problem personally with our game being at Murrayfield. One thing I definitely don't buy into, I just want to get clearly, a lot of stupidity has been thrown about by our sets of fans, Celtic fans, and if you believe this opinion, sort yourself out. There's actually been fans saying this is a home game for Hearts. Shut up. It is not a home game for Hearts. They played a few games at Murrayfield last year where the fans were the majority. This is going to be a 50-50 split, and they've not played at Murrayfield for well over a year now. It is not a home game for Hearts. Let's get that bit clear right now. If you believe that, I'm sorry, you're stupid. It's not a home game for Hearts. It's still a 50-50 split. But aye, they didn't have a ballot or anything, just said Celtic Hearts move to Murrayfield. When technically, if they were doing that, surely the logical thing to do is to move the Aberdeen game to Murrayfield and Rangers to Murrayfield for the sake of the Aberdeen supporters, to give them an easier journey, to give them easier travelling. You know, that's the only that's logic in my mind, but to the SFA, that's just impossible. They couldn't keep Celtic and Hearts. It's no bother for Celtic fans and Rangers fans to travel to Hampden. We know that. The majority of fans are from Glasgow. So there's no bother there. Hearts, it's in their city now, but Aberdeen, either way, have to travel. But Glasgow's far much more of a hassle than Edinburgh for Aberdeen fans. So why is it not that game? Why was there no battle? Why was there not a draw in the first place? I mean, that was one of the things that Celtic came out in their statement and said that we're not happy there was no ballot or whatever to decide the game. As I said, I'm no bothered about being at Murrayfield, but surely, in fairness, there should be a ballot or a draw to see what game gets put at Murrayfield and what game gets put at Hampden, instead of just a split-second decision against all fans knowing. It's a real shambles within the SFA, and it feels like, as years go on, it just feels like the confidence within themselves and the competence to make decisions just goes down and down and down. The SFA's Chief Executive Stuart Regan stepped down, we got a new Chief Executive, and things just don't seem to be getting any better within the decision making. And it's not all just to do with the SFA, it's to do with bookings and police and everything altogether. They should surely, for football being on as long as it has, with cup finals, cup semi-finals, for as long as there's been, surely there could be a lot of organisation can be far better than what it has been for this weekend of games. It's absolutely shocking, to say the least. But it's been decided now, so Rangers and Hearts, they are going to head over to Hampden. Rangers and Aberdeen, and Hearts and Celtic are going to play at Murrayfield, in which will be a testing weekend for Celtic. But as that game comes, obviously I will preview that, I will review that as the games come. My opinion is SFA and the decision makers in this have made an absolute tit of themselves, and they have not done themselves any favours to do with getting backing from fans and clubs. They have not showed any sort of confidence within these decision makings, and we've had to hear a lot of the news through rumours and through newspaper articles, and there's been a lot of uncertainty within it all. And I've made my points clear. You may not agree with me, you may think I am talking shite. I just make videos on my opinion, and that is my opinion towards it all. Hopefully the weekend does go down as a success. Maybe we have avoided calamities within the city of Glasgow. There should be no fights or anything now, no worries as much. But there's a lot of things that I feel like they've just skipped into consideration for this decision, which could have been taken into account and could have made things a lot easier for all the sets of fans, for the policing, for the organisation, event holders and such. It's just been a right mess. And maybe we've got a firm decision now, but I would not be surprised if we hear something like one of the games at Celtic Park, one of the games at Ibrox. I wouldn't be surprised. With the way things are going at the top of the Scottish football pyramid. But we'll see how it goes. If you have enjoyed the video, you know what to do. You know how to hit like and subscribe. Let me know your opinions. Let me know your opinions to my opinions. If you don't agree with me, you feel like you want to be violent in the comments, feel free, because I have a real laugh. I think that's one of my main traits with abusive comments. Sorry about again, the quality and such has not been as great, of course, but what can you do? But until next time, it's been 918. I'll see you all later.